everyone. Welcome to Ham Radio Basics Live, Season 2, Episode 3, Ham Radio News and Updates 2/21/2024. Hope everyone is doing well this evening. I see Chris, you're already in the chat. Hope you're doing well. Jan, welcome. See who else we got. UTV and Ham, welcome. Good to see you tonight. Got a lot to talk about. First of all, I want to talk about Hamcation, and it was awesome. It was a great experience. And I'll tell you something that happened that ended up not really laughing about it, but wasn't serious. It was a different experience for me because the first time I went was back in 2014, and I was newly licensed and a young pup in ham, and I had no idea what I was in for. Okay, this time I knew exactly what was going on. Just to kind of give you, LA, welcome. Good to see you. Just to kind of give you a lay of the land in what's going on there. There's really one main building where the vendors are here at Hamcation in Orlando, and there's a second. There are two other buildings, and one of them was called, I think, the North Hall. They did have a smattering of vendors in there, but it was also where you would go to take a look and see to check where the raffle winners were, and you could buy additional raffle tickets in there at $5 a pop. I did go ahead and spend some additional money in there. And then what was real interesting was up a little ways, and you walk through, and there were some that were set up with tents and doing a flea market. But basically, their flea market was indoors this year, and did a video on that, and that's a huge building, that was a great idea because I've heard up at Hamvention, when you go up there, they do it outside, and if it's been raining, the lots are muddy, and it's just an unpleasant experience walking through that. But that was incredible going through there. I think one of the things that amazed me the most, okay, every time I go to look, I never can find anything, what I'm looking for. I'm looking to try to get a steal on something newer. But I really didn't see a whole lot of that. Did see a lot of military surplus there. And the other thing was there was, I think, at least two or three tables full of old tubes. I mean, and the lady who was working that booth there was telling me, she said that's only a smattering of what the owner has. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that's crazy. But all these tubes were sitting there. So got to meet, I met Josh, I met Jason, met Frank, met T.O., met Smoking Ape. That was great. Well, when I met some of them, they were outside of that building, and I walked through some bushes to go over there and talk to them for just a few minutes because they were getting ready to do something else. And I was walking back towards my wife. Now, last year, you probably remember, and I think I probably told you, I had a fall last year and broke my left hand. You guys all know that all too well. So I am just like uber careful with, where I'm going and watching what I'm going. And I saw where, I went back to go through the bushes, and I saw where there was a gap where the sidewalk was and the dirt was. So, I mean, it was just like, I'm going to be real careful. Okay. Now, what I didn't see was there was a short plastic pipe sticking out of the ground by one of the bushes, and my right foot hit that, and then we went a tumbling again. Okay. But very fortunately, thank you, Lord, did not get seriously hurt. I bruised my left knee. I bruised my left big toe, and I bruised my left shin. I got x-rays on all of them. They were all negative. Taking Advil, icing them down. Bags of frozen corn and peas are the best to ice extremities down. I'm telling you. I learned that after my son had to have had his surgery, had a compound fracture of his lower right leg and ankle. So yeah, I learned that all too well. But it really does work. So all in all, and that was day 2, and then we headed home, and I ended up getting x-rays on Monday and Friday and all that, got all that stuff done. But it was great. We had a great time. Went down to Miller's Ale House that night on was it or Friday night. Saw some of the guys there. They were pretty engaged. Said hi to several of them. Got to meet a lot of great people. I got to spend some time and talk to Ray Novak from ICOM. Ray was fantastic, and I put out a video for that and encourage you guys to go ahead and watch that. I also talked to Don Arnold from Kenwood. And what really kind of surprised me was there wasn't a lot of people at the Kenwood booth, and that really kind of surprised me because the THD 75A, you would think that it would be wall to wall, lined up, ready to talk to him. And I had a real nice conversation with Don from Kenwood, and we talked about the THD 75A. They're going through a lot of trials and tribulations with them, and I know they're working really hard to make sure that that's right. I know they're having some battery issues. They did have some Bluetooth issues with it. So, pay attention to the groups and see what's going on out there. I try to post updated information for everybody. It's too rich for my blood right now at that price tag. I think $750 for an HT. That's a little too rich for my prices. Yes, Jan, I'm real happy. Yeah, real happy that didn't translate into anything that was broken for sure. So, just sore and I'm taking liquid gel Advil and icing them down. So it's working real well. Sergeant Rock, good to see you tonight. Okay. Yeah, frozen peas and corn, Chris. They trust me. We put them in plastic bags. We mark do not use. They work like nobody's business, and they form perfectly like around ankles or legs or arms or elbows or hands or whatever. They work really, really, really well. So, but just to kind of get back, Dawn was great. And then I talked to James from Hammerhead Test, and those guys are fantastic. They do a great job. And I got to meet who James calls a Professor Jim. I think Jim's his name. He does all the online courses for them. They really have a niche, I think. And, everybody who takes their classes does so well. And they gave Valerie a free technician class book, and I'm probably going to get her a free technician class. And I told her, I said, it's one of those things, you take your time and whenever you're ready to take it, because I think I would like for her to get her technician class license so we could possibly talk on HTs if a need would arise, if we had some kind of situation where it would arise. But we're hopeful. She had a good time as well, too. She enjoyed that. She enjoyed meeting some of the people as well, and going around to the vendors. It was a completely different experience this time because, and I also, and my good friend Joe, he used to be the manager of HRO out in San Diego. I went up and talked to the folks at the HRO booth and told them, I said that Joe said hi, and they said hi back, and that he's a great guy. And I told him, I said, Joe's also follows me on my drone channel as well too, and he really has a good thing. So, but yeah, so that's kind of it in a nutshell. If you haven't had a chance to watch some of the videos, please go back and do so. I really like my interview with Ray from ICOM. Ray's just a great guy. Wanted to try to talk to John Kruk from Yaesu, but apparently he was teaching a lot of classes because one time when I went over, when I thought they were free, they were all gone. And apparently that's what they were doing. They were teaching some classes there. So one of the things you have to prepare for when you go to Hamcation is you're parking out pretty much in a cow pasture, and you have ruts about yay deep. So, besides just falling, I'm having to watch walking back to where the truck was. And that was, wow, that was just crazy stuff. And you think, and it's not, and it's in an area of town. Let me put it to you this way. There's a lot of pawn shops in that area of town where they're at. So, and you don't really kind of pick a motel in that area. We stayed in the Drury Inns and Suites down by Universal. And that was one of the nicer hotels we've ever stayed in. We had a outstanding experience there. And that was one of the ones that was recommended by Hamcation. So, onward and forward, I'm going to get to the news here in just a second. Hamvention's coming up in May, same kind of idea, but it's on a larger scale. And the buildings that they have there, they may only have 2 or 3 vendors in a building, and they're large vendors, say like Gigaparts or HRO, or DX Engineering was not at Hamcation, but they will be at Hamvention. Conversely, Chameleon was not at Hamcation, but they'll be at Hamvention. So, and just a kind of a side note, and I know I've talked about it a little bit before with that. Some of these vendors like DX Engineering and Chameleon, they have to weigh there's a cost justification for them. All right. Because it costs them money to rent the booth space, to take things out there and to set up. They're gonna run it into money here. So, yeah, I should be there. I should be there. Wrap me in bubble wrap before I get there. I mean, that's what I told my wife. I said, "What do you want? What do you want this year for your birthday?" My birthday's a little in July, but I told her to get me some bubble wrap and just wrap me up. So, I'm just, yeah, seriously. But all told, we're looking forward to that. It should be a good experience. Oh wow. Wow, 92. I didn't know that. It's a lot of fun, and I'm looking forward to it. And I know the area where Hamvention is. It's over in near a town called Xenia, Ohio, and you probably heard of them. They're known for unfortunately for that deadly tornado back in the late 60s, early 70s. But it's also a hop, skip, and a jump from where my two older children went to college. My two older children went to college at Cedarville University, which is it's right there. I mean, you could probably throw a football and hit Xenia. And I've been to Xenia several times, so I know it well, and I'm really looking forward to it. And we'll also, we'll make that trip long enough so we can also sneak some time in to go visit the grandchildren and my daughter and son-in-law as well too, and hopefully my sons. I'd like to see them as well too. So, okay, that's all the housekeeping announcements and all that. Oh, one other housekeeping announcement. You've probably seen, I've dropped links in the description for that. I've started a new channel on my Toyota Tundra. It's called Tundra Nation Basics. Ham Radio Basics, Tundra Nation Basics. Okay. That went live today. There's a welcome video out there, and then there's also the first video out there, which is a recall on the Tundra, and it's going to be tips, tricks, and my adventures with the Tundra. I'm looking forward to having a lot of fun with that. Okay. All right. Well, Cooley, that's great. It's only 2 hours from you. That's fantastic. It's it's a plane trip for me. Okay. It's kind of only 2 hours for me too, but it's by plane. Let me put it to you that way. So, okay. We're going to go ahead and go over the news. And there's one spot and one thing that I do want to comment on and spend a few minutes on. So we're going to do that as well too here. So let's go ahead and share my screen here. All right. We're going to start out here. It was before Hamcation. Chameleon came out with a sling bag for the MPass 2.0, and it replaced the green bag that they had originally sent with this. And what's nice about this, it fits everything in there. You used to have to one of the longer parts of the antenna you used to have to have on the outside. No more on this. In fact, you could probably take double antennas in here, as far as the mill whip is concerned and the extension. So, fantastic bag. It's only, I think, around $79. Very high quality, very durable. Definitely something that you want to add. So if you get a chance, make sure you guys check out that video here. And we have WJ6F Radio just hit 10,000 subscribers. That's a huge moment in a channel. Congratulations. I'm at 12,000. I'm trying to push 13 on my drone channel, and it's just kind of reaches a point here. I did take a snap poll, and it looked like most of the people who follow me on Twitter didn't go to Hamcation, and that's understandable here. So, this was great. Ran into this ham who's setting up. You can take a look. It's a power supply that he set up here. And there's his antenna connections coming into the house, and a solar connection right there. And there's his box outside. I thought that was really cool. Now, this is a great video right here, and I wanted to stop here for a second. A lot of people don't test their batteries correctly, and this is a fantastic way to this video right here. And if you guys get a chance, stop and take a look at this. It shows you how to use, and I have the PowerWorks, and of course I have Bioenno batteries as well too. It really teaches you the proper way to test your battery and to find out exactly what's going on in that. So that's something I would highly recommend you guys taking a look at. Of course, I advertised for today, and here was my getting ready to go out on day two before I had fell and had my accident. But we were all set, and what was real nice was I have had a bag of swag that if I ran into people that I would get them some, and I was able to do that with several of them. Hammerhead Test, their group there, James and Jim and their whole crew, I was able to hand some out, and some other ones as well too. So, and I got Ray and also Don Arnold as well. So that was a lot. That was a lot of fun. And my sign was by the sign guy. I think that's what he's called. I'm not sure. They were there. They're a great vendor. They did number one class job on our signs. We really liked them a lot. So, um, yeah, there was lots of walking at Hamcaton. I had almost 10,000 steps on Friday. And oh yeah, another thing, we left our home here just outside of Tampa like at 5:30 in the morning. We got there about 10 because Orlando traffic is just it's always a constant. It's something that you never have an issue with. This post right here celebrated our 13th wedding anniversary, and right here is the video. Ray is just a fantastic guy. He's just a fountain of knowledge. He's easy to talk to. Very, 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 very just down to earth, and really enjoyed spending a few minutes with him. We talked about 7100 and some other things, and definitely go watch the video. We are very fortunate. He is a great ambassador for ham radio. Of course, his full-time job is working for ICOM, but his part-time job, and it's unpaid, but he's an ambassador. He's a fantastic ambassador for ham radio. So, and again, and then here's my interview with Don Arnold from Kenwood. Again, if you get a chance, definitely go and take a look at that. We had a great time. Thank you, Jeff. I appreciate that. And then here's Jane Cribbs from Ham Radio Prep. Did a video with them. And it was real interesting on this video. There's a point in the video that you hear the audio, but what I had to do was I was using my DJI Osmo Action, and I downloaded it to my laptop that night, and then on Saturday went in to record it, and it stopped because the SD card was full. I thought I had cleared my SD card. I didn't. So what I did was I was using my DJI mic, and it records everything to my mic. So I still had the audio. So all I did was I had James's picture up, and we still were able to complete the interview. It was a static picture of him, but James is just fantastic, and what he's doing with Ham Radio Prep is out of this world. And also World Radio League, you guys want to check that out as well. It's logging and a whole lot more, but you definitely want to spend some time and check that out. So and there we did a vendor walkthrough, and it kind of gives you a flavor and a feel for how the hall's set up. It's kind of tight quarters there compared to Dayton. I mean, I've never been to Dayton, but I've seen pictures, and it's pretty tight quarters there. So very, very, very interesting. Now I went out and I did a drone video. It was the first drone video I did this year. Was right before we went to Hamcation. That was the first decent weather time that we had. The weather has been absolutely crazy. This was absolutely wonderful. This Valentine's Day, take her to somewhere special. Ham radio outlet. Just it was too good to pass up. And Reed, welcome. Glad to see you tonight. There I am with an update. Now, this is something I'm going to spend a few minutes on. U.S. Senators Roger Wicker of Mississippi and Richard Blumenthal from Connecticut introduced legislation to give amateur radio operators the right to install their antennas and serve their community. Great. Okay, and we're gonna go ahead and take a look at this here. Um, I'm going to bring up the article here because it really kind of hones in on it, and I think this article applies to everybody. And let's go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and share this, and I'm going to read through this here because I think it's really super important here. U.S. Senators Roger Wicker, Republican Mississippi, and Richard Blumenthal, Democrat Connecticut, introduced legislation to give amateur radio operators the right to install their antennas and serve their community. Homeowner association rules prevent amateur radio operators from installing outdoor antennas on residential properties, even though this communication method has proven to be essential in emergencies and natural disasters, such as hurricanes in states like Mississippi and Connecticut. Because communication during natural disasters is often hindered, we should make every attempt to give folks more options. Reliable access can make difference between life and death in an emergency. Our legislation removes roadblocks for amateur radio operators looking to help their friends, family, and neighbors, Senator Wicker said. Our measure will help clarify the rules so ham radio enthusiasts can successfully continue their communication in the face of emergency or crisis, and they provide vital, life-saving information that allow listeners to properly and safely respond. But prohibitive home association rules and confusing approval process for installing antennas has been an unnecessary impediment, Senator Blumenthal said. The Amateur Radio Emergency Preparedness Act resolves these bottlenecks and ensures that radio operations can function successfully. Background. The Amateur Radio Emergency Preparedness Act of 2024 would require homeowner associations to accommodate the needs of amateur radio operators by limiting the scenarios in which they can ban, prevent, or require the approval and installation of amateur radio antennas. Homeowner associations have often prevented installation and use through private lands restrictions, potentially hindering access to emergency communications. Among other provisions, this legislation would prohibit homeowner association rules that would prevent or ban amateur radio antennas, clarify the approval process for installing an amateur radio antenna, give amateur radio operators a right of action. The Amateur Radio Emergency Preparedness Act of 2024 has been endorsed by the American Radio Relay League. The full text of the legislation can be found here. And I'm going to go ahead. Now, I dropped that full text, the link at the beginning of the show. So let's go ahead and we're going to drop the link for this right here. There we go. All right. Yeah, Jeff. Yeah, I'm pretty amazed at this too. Seeing both sides of the aisle get together on this one, I think it's fantastic. And let's go ahead and this should be able to come up. I thought this would come up. Because I want to show you the actual language of the bill. I have to stop and then share it here again. So hang on a second. Yeah, here's what the actual text of the bill looks like, and you see it's not for a bill. It's not really that bad, but it's really clear, succinct, and to the point. So, kudos to them for doing this. Last night I contacted my congressman, and I also contacted my two United States senators here in Florida. Gotten responses back from, even though they were kind of canned responses, back from the U.S. Senator's office. Haven't gotten a response back from the canned responses I got or thank you for your inquiry. We'll get back to you. We'll make sure to address this personally, that kind of thing. And I haven't heard back from my congressman's office here. So, but I went ahead and I did that, saying I urge them to vote for this act. It'll make a huge difference. I won't have to go and get approval to put a flagpole up to hide my antenna in the flagpole. That won't have to do that. If they get this passed, that'll make it a breeze. So, yeah, I wanted to spend a few minutes on that and go over that. I thought that's important, and like I said, those links are down there, and I'm going to drop the links in the description too after the show. I'll get them in there or in the comments so you guys can have them. Read through it. And like I said, please make sure you contact your congressmen and your U.S. senators. We need to get this to pass. It would make everybody's lives a whole lot easier, and homeowners associations would have no say in this at all, which I think is fantastic. So I think that is absolutely great. So, all right, let's get back to have a few more things to share with you guys. It's a great video. Michael Martins always does a fantastic job. He did a video on Yaesu FT891 voice memory keyer. It's a lot like the ICOM 7300. It has that built-in feature to do that. So that's a great video. And here's a video I just did. And it's gotten really, really well. It's been, I've gotten a lot of positive comments on it, and I put together a go bag for the IC705. And one of the things that I did was, first of all, I got to give thanks for thanks is due. The bag was an idea that I saw on Steve's channel, TO. He had put together a go bag for the 705. So it gave me inspiration to do the same. And I want to thank him for that because he did a fantastic job in that. But this has been fantastic. I think it was a great idea. Everything's in there. Okay. I have a battery in there. I have an antenna in there. All my cables in there, tuner in there. I have paracord in there. I have a weight in there, Arbus weight in there. Like I said, it's ready to rock and roll in there. There's an NPET half wave antenna in there. So definitely take a look at this video. I'm going to follow this up with actually taking the bag out, going to a park or somewhere, and I don't have any state parks by me, but just going out and setting it up outside right out of the go bag and show you guys that as well too. So I'm looking forward to doing that. And then there's our good friend Walt. He put together another video on an NPET antenna for 17 and 12 meters, and you can see the diagrams that he puts here. Walt's he is a fantastic ambassador for ham radio. He just does a fantastic job. Definitely check out that video right there. Okay. RT Systems, which was they just came out with software for the Kenwood THD 75A to be able to download my mind's blank, download repeaters and whatnot to your phone. So, or to your phone, to your HT. So that's some good news, and kudos to RT Systems for getting that out. Now this is real interesting, and I wanted to spend a minute on this. Gigaparts has an Explorer backpack. Now, one of the things that really fascinated with me with this was they also have a pouch that's made for the ICOM IC7300. So you could really build a go bag for your ICOM IC7300 if you so choose to do so. And it's kind of tempting me. It's kind of calling my name here. So I'm really kind of thinking that I might go ahead and do that here. So, and again, there's another video on the Gigaparts Explorer backpack right there. So, and just I thought this one was real interesting. A gentleman made his own key right there. I thought that was good. And one of the other things I wanted to talk about here was there's an informal tutorial coming out on February 28th at 8 o'clock Eastern time. It's a Zoom meeting, and it's on the THD 75A. Don Arnold is going to be on there, and you can read. There's a link that I provided down here for the Facebook group, and there's complete information on what you need to do to be able to access that and be able to submit questions. So if that's something that interests you, that's something you definitely want to take advantage of. And there's a gentleman who has his FT891 with a Yaesu FT50 tuner. And Ham Radio Prep talks about This is just a who makes the best CW keys survey of 100 hams, and a majority of them going to say Bengali. I think that's how it's pronounced. So, and that's about all we have for now. As far as that's concerned. Jeff, that would be super. I agree. I absolutely agree. You know, they should be there. They're our advocate. They should be there to fight for us. And you know, that's definitely one of the things that we need to do. I want to thank you guys for stopping by tonight. It's been great to actually have just what I would call a normal regular show. Hope you guys had a chance to watch my live stream when I was out at Hempcation. Have to do those outside. I don't have Wi-Fi access inside. Josh and Jason do because of their channel size. I didn't, but they're going to try to work on that from what Jason was telling me. And they may try to work on that at Hamvention as well. So stay tuned for that. But it was a great time. It was a great experience. Again, I want to thank you guys for stopping by tonight. Let's see, Jan was here, Chris, Jeff, who else we got? Cooley was here. Who else? I know there were several other ones here. LA was here. Reed was here. Sergeant Rock was here. Let's see who else. Okay. All right, guys. Thank you guys so much. And as always, guys, remember it's a great day to make a QSO. 7-3s, everyone. And if you get a chance, hit up our Tundra Nation Basics and subscribe to that as well too. Thanks a lot, guys, and have a great rest of your evening.